So you make sure you save everything, Control plus S to save everything. After that, we move on to the assembly. We assemble all what we've done so far from what we've done at the beginning up to now. So hit Control plus N to move on to this dialog, and you just double click on assembly, and in the assembly we have this. So the property manager will pop up this menu, and this will be what we'll be finding over here. So over here, if the document we have worked on so far is not currently open, it won't appear here. But if it's still open in SolidWorks, then you have them here. It won't be just these three. So if you have 10 documents recently opened, they will all show up here. And also, if it's not open, you can just browse to the folder you saved everything. So I can just browse here and just select the components I want to assemble. But fortunately for me, everything is already opened. Yeah, so I'll just hit this keep visible so that I can insert a lot of things anytime or at any point in time. So I'll start with the last or the first on the list and just hit the confirmation button over there. Then after that, I'll just move on to the next and also just hit it. So I'll explain why I'm doing that. Sorry. Okay, so the next wasn't able to come in SolidWorks. I needed to click it. Okay, let's just do it again. So the next, I want to let's start everything again. So let me just close this assembly. Control N. I've already explained everything. So first on the list, it's this. It's inserted. It's left. Insert. It's inserted. And this one, so the main reason the second time I wasn't able to insert was I had to click on the user interface. And let me just close it. Graphical user interface. So the main reason I wanted to make sure I insert it from the property manager was that when you check or when you use this button, it automatically align your model, the origin of your model with the origin of the entire assembly. So if this is my origin, and because I use the multi-body parts modeling technique, this is my origin for the assembly. When I move on to this component, the first one, its origin too is the same. You can see the same point is selected, and the next one too also has the same origin. So the main reason I wanted to assemble them that way is that I don't want them to be misaligned. So you see the gap we left in during our parts modeling, they are all perfectly aligned and it is fixed here. So if you see F here, it means it's fixed, and this is undefined or it's floating. So I can still move it anywhere I want to move it to. So let's just really assemble everything together. So I just copy this part by just click on it, hit Control and just drag it. Okay, so I've copied this, or you can still use the insert and just go through the normal process again. So this time, because I didn't model 2 rows in my part, I could have just done that. I wanted to just assemble it so that you know how to assemble more stuff. Yes, so I have to assemble this together. So I'll select this face and this face, hitting Control, and I'll have this breadcrumb, and I'll just select coincident, and it will make the faces coincident. It means they should meet, they should lie on each other. But because this is beginner friendly, I'll undo that and I'll start with the normal way of assembling stuff in SolidWorks. So you move on to mate, you click on mate, your property manager will come, you select the face you want to mate together, then you just, this is automatically coincident, then you just check that. Yes, so I'm done with that. And also I'll also have to add some mates to this direction, because though the faces are in contact, it is not restricted. I can still move it towards this direction, and that's not what I want because of the motion analysis. So I'm just measuring this distance, and I'll add a distance mate. So you can just use the measure button, or you can better still just click on the faces, the edges, using control, and just check the value here. So the normal distance is 0.5, and I'll add a distance mate. So going back there again, I'll select this face and this face, and I'll specify the distance to be 0.5.5. Voila. So you are done. You can all see that it's still not restricted, right? It can still move. So Control 7, and I'll just align. So basically they all have the same plane, so I'm just going to use their planes to mate them. So I'm going to mate the front plane, which I'm not seeing, with the front plane of the assembly, so that everything will align together. And as you just saw, everything was aligned. So basically we are done, and you can see this is fully defined, this is fixed, and the only thing left is the row. So with the row, I'm going to make sure the temporal axis is showing. So temporal axis is showing, then I'll add a distance mate. So the distance, you see, when we're modeling, the distance from here to here tangential to this was 40. So we create something like a tolerance 0.2, then we just add a distance mate. So I'm just learning how to use the distance mate. So the first thing I'll do with it is also to align its plane, so especially the front plane. I could do that, but because of the motion analysis, I will still constrain it. I will not prevent. Okay, let's just go on with that, and we talk about that one. Okay, I think it will work. Okay, so that will be the right plane. I'm going to make the right plane with the right plane. Sorry, right plane. Then you hit Control, right plane, then coincident from the breadcrumb. Or you can just go to your mate, you hit the right plane, and check coincidence. Then I'll add a distance mate. Sorry. So I'll select this axis, select this face, add a distance mate, and the distance should be 9.8, 39.8. And then I'm done with the assembly. So let me just turn off the temporal axis because I'm done using it. And then move it the way I want to position it. Somewhere here is okay. But so let's create a view, right? A view orientation. So I want to create a new view. So I'm going to create a new view, and this time I'm going to, okay, this is okay. So let's start the process again. You first make sure you're oriented the way you want to make it look. So I'll be using this view for the animation. So I want it to be in a way that it will be aligned in a way that you could see the rail moving on the rail, the wheel moving on the rail. So something like this is okay for me, and it's more visible this way. So let me even, oh, what did I just do? Let me just make it something like this and more closer. Yeah, so this way is okay, so that I can make it visible. So you click, you come to the heads up view, you click on this, and we name it animation underscore view. Click OK. So we've created a view. So anytime you move away from this, you can still have access to it. So let's save everything. Let's save, you rebuild and save the document. I'm going to save it as actual real underscore animation dot as. Yep. So everything is saved. So we look at how to animate it in the next section so that this video won't be that long. So let's look at that in the next section.